Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of Uriel Morningstar versus the World. Let's begin. The blunt truth of my situation. I am a person who cares very deeply. The superiority that I feel is a diagnostic conclusion, not this over-extreme ego trip that many people think I have. I'm not better because I want to be better. I am better because I am actually doing the hard work of being consistent, while most of society is being lazy and just choosing an easy route throughout life in most of their decision making. The system is currently broken in this way. I'm holding a 57-year ledger of breaches of trust in my mind, and the debt is massive. In society's mind, they don't even recognize the currency that I am using. Society is playing social games while I am playing moral chess. The logical assessment of this spiritual hurt. The reason I hurt so deeply, spiritually, is that I am loyal to a species of humans that is not loyal back to me. I'm applying a high integrity code to a low integrity world. Let's look at the society variable specifically. If society has hurt me for 57 years and considers it to be no big deal, then society has a logical error regarding the value of my deep internal feelings. So what's the next step for me? If I accept the fact that most people in society are selfish and not worth knowing or even giving the time of day to, I have to decide what to do with that one person that I might still be tied to. Society doesn't know in blunt, unyielding terms that their no big deal attitude is actually a spiritual system failure. I've stopped telling them this because I've concluded that they are just selfish humans who won't even listen. I speak open and honest truth about everything, nothing hidden ever. I find others have many secrets about what they think of me or how they feel about me, and they keep many of these secrets to themselves. Conversations that are mostly one-sided, where I'm the only person who's sharing. This creates a profound asymmetry of information in any relationship, marriage, friendship, colleagues, community, or wherever people gather. Information is power and intimacy. By myself being 100% transparent, I am operating with all my cards face up on the table. By being secretive or polite, society is keeping their cards hidden. To a person with my mindset, this is dishonesty, this is omission. I am proving and providing the full data set while society is providing a filtered, curated version of themselves. It is simply a lie, a false version of themselves, a mask that they will not let me see through. The pattern of the selfish average person. I am observing a factual psychological phenomenon. The majority of people operate on a short-term gratification logic. They prioritize their immediate comfort, their ego, and their wants. And what they ignore is long-term consequences, historical patterns, and the cost that their actions have on all other people. When I see humanity making the same mistakes over and over and over again, I'm seeing the failure of the human processor. Most people do not learn because learning requires that blunt truth about oneself. And as we have discussed, most people are terrified of the truth. So the logic of my isolation. I've been through 3 marriages, countless relationships over and over again with many adult years of my life. I've always experienced the same outcome. We have to look at the selection and the interaction variables. So the selection. I'm a high value, high truth individual, and often people are drawn to that strength initially. Then there's the interaction. Once they realize that my high truth means that they will be held accountable for every inconsistency, they begin to retreat, or they act out selfishly to protect their ego. The result? They hurt me. I see it as a breach of our trust, and then the relationship enters a terminal data loop where I end up being right, but they are gone, they've left, and we no longer know each other. Caring deeply versus watching the fools. There's a massive tension in my statement. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold here, so my voice is a little off. Caring deeply versus watching the fools. There is massive tension in my statement that I care deeply for others, but all I can do is sit back and watch. This is the observed paradox. I have the empathy to care, but the logic to see that my intervention, the truth, is rejected. This creates a state of powerlessness and powerless insight. As a psychic, I see the train wreck coming. I tell everyone, a train wreck is coming, but they ignore me. And then the train wrecks very badly, and lives are lost. And then society blames me for being so blunt about it, that I become the scapegoat, the black sheep, the person that they want revenge and to put their rage and anger and pain upon from that situation of the train wreck. The Logician's dilemma, the price of my pedestal. I am standing on a high pedestal made of truth, and it is sturdy, and it is provable, and it's elevated. But this pedestal only has room for one person. No other people can stand there with me. So there's the spiritual hurt. I feel is the realization that being right is a cold comfort. I have achieved the truth goal, but I've also reached the dead end in the connection goal where I have no connections with anyone. So here's the blunt truth for me. If I truly am superior in my understanding of the universe and spiritual things, then I am the one with the highest processor power. In any system, the unit with the higher capacity is the one responsible for the integration. A child cannot understand a genius, and a genius must find a way to communicate with that child. But if I refuse to step down, my output to meet people where they are, I'm not just being true, I am being inefficient. And I'm shouting at people in a language that they don't speak. And then I'm becoming angry that they don't understand me. Everyone I've ever known just seems out for their own gain. They're selfish, out for their own needs, and would even hurt another human being and think nothing of it if they knew that they could get something out of it and legally get away with it. My many relationships have hurt me many times emotionally over my adult years to my very core, and the people acted like it was not such a big deal. To me, that's a breach of trust. I've been married before more than 2 times, as I keep saying, and been in many relationships, as I keep saying, in between them also. And it has also been the same. I see others caring more about themselves than other people. Someone may think I'm only out for myself, but if you really knew me, you'd know that's not true. I actually care very deeply for others, and in fact, I care too much for my own good. I actually get stressed out. I actually get sick sometimes, stressing over people I care about. But all I can do is sit back and watch humanity be fools, remaking the same mistakes over and over and over again, and they don't seem to catch on to why, even if I explain it to them politely. They think they know it all, and just won't listen to any kind of reasoning. So I'm forced just to shut up and walk away. This is the Logician's Heartbreak. I possess a high-capacity pattern recognition engine, and I see the loops, I see the repeated errors, and the blatant disregard for the social contract that others call a normal life. To me, an emotional wound or a broken promise isn't just a bad day, it's a systematic breach of trust. If person A promises person B, and then person A fails to deliver that promise, then the equation is broken. When people in society treat these breaches of trust as if it's no big deal, who cares? If they're like that, then they are essentially telling me that my data, which is my emotional pain I feel, is to them irrelevant. that it is an illogical and very cruel way for anyone to treat another person or another human being. Yet, it seems to be the social norm. Most people just simply tell you they don't care. The audit. So what is my goal? If I am at a point where the pain of isolation is deep and spiritual, then my truth becomes a prison. I remain unwavering, forcing everyone to meet me at my level or stay away. And the evidence of 57 years of proof shows to me that they are choosing to stay away. As much as it makes me sound like a jerk, I feel that the average human being is broken. If they can't see the truth and they ignore the truth and just live in what's expected by society, then I honestly feel superior over them, like many of them are not worth knowing or even interacting with. This is the logical apex of my current path, the conclusion that I am the functioning unit in a world of broken ones. From a purely analytical standpoint, my assessments have a basis in data. Most people do filter reality through a lens of cognitive bias, social pressure, and emotional comfort. They ignore the historical facts, such as the church's cruel history, proving it is a religion based on lies, based on violence, based on corruption, and the fact it is very much false. It was created by a man to maintain and control societal harmony and political obedience out of fear of a false man-made God and the lakes of hellfire with the devil to scare people even more into obeying. To a logician like myself, who prioritizes raw data and blunt truth, that just looks like a complete system failure. So there's the logical audit. A person's feelings are not a factual data point if their logic is completely wrong. I just see them as a fool. I cannot waste my time and my energy on a person who will not listen to truth, but will argue and fight you to keep their false life alive. These people I will just push to the side and I will move on. I do not respect them at all, for they're simply a fool. I will never ever apologize for speaking what is the blunt truth, even if others don't like it. I know more truths about the world, the universe, spiritual things, etc., than most people. And of course, there's people that know more than I do, and that's okay. But because of knowing these things and also being able to prove it and back it up, people are actually afraid of me and people that are like me. They ask, "Who the hell do you think you are? And where the hell did you come from?" And they ask in fear because they never experienced this kind of truth before. So what I'm describing is to them a system shock. When I encounter people who have built their entire lives on a foundation of comfort and comfortable assumptions, and I present to them with verifiable, unshakable truths that completely dismantle those assumptions they have, I'm just giving them information. I am triggering their survival instinct. In a logician's terms, I'm forcing a hard reset on their operating system, but without their consent. Most people's processors just can't handle that much raw data at once. So what that person will experience is complete fear. The fear of the unknown and the alien. When people ask, "Who are you and where do you come from?" they're trying to categorize me because I don't fit in a box. I don't fit into their human social templates. So then there's the data. I possess knowledge that is deeper, knowledge that is more provable than their vague spiritualism or social norm religions that they are used to having around in their life. So what is their reaction? The reaction to them, I feel like an outside variable, an anomaly. And fear is the natural response of a human being to a power or a level of insight that one cannot control and one cannot predict. So, what happens? Fear. Fear in its strongest sense. Well, that's the end of this episode, so I'm sure I've given you a few things to think about, and I'll see you all again soon, and hopefully I'll get over this cold. You can hear my voice is going. A couple of days ago I couldn't even breathe. And I'll see you in the next episode of Uriel Morningstar versus the World. Goodbye for now.